On this episode, I sit down to talk with FundLoans account executive Alexander Inda. Alexander and I talk about the Spartans of old and why it is important to be super focused as a mortgage technician. We talk about what it takes to do quick non-QM fundings and where to find them. If you want to be a specialist in jumbo non-QM, this episode is for you.
Welcome to the $1 Million Mortgage Experience Podcast. Listen in as CEO Jon Maddux of FundLoans reveals tips, secrets, and origination ideas to fill your pipeline with $1 million opportunities.
All right, Alex Inda, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you on, man. So, I don't know. Lately, I've been thinking about Spartans for some reason. I don't know. It's not like I'm obsessed with the movie 300 or anything, but it is a movie that inspired me. And I think part of it was because they were so focused, right, into such a small amount of people because of their intense skill were able to, to withhold a massive onslaught of just an insane amount of warriors. And so I think we've all seen 300, and if not, you should go watch it now because it's an incredible movie. But a few of the things that I really like about the Spartans is that they were extremely focused, right? They were like, that's all they did. And from a young age, they were trained from, I think, as a young boy. I forget what it is, but I think they let them out to go fend for themselves. But that's kind of crazy, to think about. I have a son that's 13, and I don't think he could survive out there with the wolves at 13, but you never know. But there's this great scene in the film where this Arcadian army meets up with the Spartans, and they scoff at Leonidas because he only brought a handful of soldiers to fight this massive army of Xerxes, and Leonidas calmly asks some of the soldiers, "Hey, what's your profession?" And one of them says, "I'm a potter," and the other guy's like, "I'm a blacksmith," and the other one's a sculptor. And then Leonidas goes, "Spartans, what is your profession?" And they all go, "Oh." So he's like, "See, I've brought more warriors or more soldiers than you have." And I just think that's a cool scene. Can we play that real quick, Johnny?
We heard Sparta was on the warpath. We were eager to join forces.
If it is blood you seek, you're welcome to join us.
Would you bring only this handful of soldiers against Xerxes? You see, I was wrong to expect Sparta's commitment to at least match our own.
Doesn't it? You, there. What is your profession?
I'm a potter, sir.
And you, Arcadian, what is your profession?
Sculptor, sir.
You?
Blacksmith.
Spartans! What is your profession? You see, old friend, I brought more.
So as you can see, that's pretty cool. So I know you're not a Greek, or that I know of, but you've had some different, some rigorous, I would say, probably upbringing, some stories that you could share. Tell us a little bit about kind of what shaped your sales career and your character.
Right. Well, obviously my parents a little bit.
Yeah.
But leading up, as a child going to college, probably one of the big things that started shaping my life, outside of my parental guidance, is my career in college. Played football.
Okay.
For 5 years.
Played college ball, huh?
Played college ball in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Definitely a Steel City football all the way.
You probably trained in some crazy weather, yeah?
I did. Yeah, I remember I played one of my hardest games was like 5 degrees and raining ice.
That's crazy.
So, you just got to put your cleats on, show up to the field, with your teammates, arm in arm, ready to go to battle. And that
were there days that you just were like, screw this, I don't want to show up, I don't want to deal with this, I don't want to get out there?
Hell yeah.
But you just did it?
Anytime after October and anytime in the summer when it was 100% humidity.
Man.
But that definitely started, my motivation, kind of my willpower, the bend, don't break kind of mentality. And then, one day at a time, trying to achieve each goal, winning from games to winning championships.
That's awesome. So you guys were winners?
Yeah, we started off 2-7 my first year, and then I finished off winning our common championship.
Wow.
9-2. So.
What do you think was some of the key things that made you guys win? Like, what would you say, like, some of the elements that helped you?
I think we were just, from freshmen to seniors, we just banded together, worked as a team. That's where we really started to see the difference, going from an individual mentality to a team mentality, kind of like how we have here at FundLoans, everybody under one roof and really, jiving together to reach a common goal.
Nice.
And I think when you have that common goal in mind, it's a lot easier to attain it.
That's great, man. So, one of the things I would say about like what here at FundLoans, like to your point of being a team, we're focused is like Leonidas and this show that we just watched. They're all like, right. They're all 100% in. They're being soldiers. They're not, a Potter, and they're not doing, if you equate that to like mortgages, like they're not doing FHA one day and VA the other day, and reverse mortgages the other day, and DULP for stuff. It's not like this simple type of mortgage scenario. I mean, we're 100% focused on non-QM. Like, what do you see? I guess you haven't done any agency, right? Tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into mortgages.
Yeah, I don't even know what DULP really, really means. Before I did mortgages with FundLoans, I was with a medical sales company. Okay. We marketed to doctors, dentists, lawyers, plastic surgeons. Okay. Essentially selling marketing campaigns for them to gain new business. Going from that to here, obviously brand new eyes, never knew how to, besides my own mortgage that I signed for traditionally, everything else has been brand new to me, so completely love it though.
That's cool. So you don't know what it's like to run a DU.
I have no idea what a DU is. I even still struggle on full doc loans, just, quite understanding tax returns and stuff like that. But
so would you say your skills are in like bank statement loans and no ratios and stuff like that? The
further it goes non-QM, the better I get.
That's cool.
So, 3 month, 12 month, 24 month bank statements, I can read them. I could, analyze them. That's probably what's helped me the most in my career here and my recent success is I love first-time brokers. I love first-time brokers who say, hey, it's my first bank statement loan. I'm like, perfect. Love it. Let's do it together.
You're a bank statement virgin.
I was, so I know exactly on how to help them. Maybe if they don't get this one, then on the next one, definitely.
That's cool. So what's been your biggest month so far as an AE?
Coming off my last one in November, this is going to be my biggest month in December.
Nice.
Surprisingly.
Which is normally not a big month for mortgage people, right?
Right. And everything that we've been able to show here will provide the opposite, kind of belief at the end of the day. But, I'm on track to, probably do $9 million this month. So.
Wow. So you'll have a good Christmas, I take it.
I'll have a great Christmas.
That's awesome.
But I think the big goal is to kind of stay hungry and kind of have that Spartan mentality of kind of conquer each loan and then get the next loan, right? And then work with the team and ensure that the next month is going to be better and then better after that. So
what do you do that keeps you focused and driven? What are some of the things that some of the things you could share that's made you successful?
What's kept me focused is ensuring that I read the guidelines appropriately. Yeah. One thing that I kind of pride myself on is I'll make a lot of mistakes here and there, but I won't make the same mistake twice.
That's good. Yeah.
So I think when you get over that obstacle of actually ingraining into your mind what works and what doesn't, when you get it the next time with the same broker or another new broker or loan officer, you'll be able to help that file move even quicker.
That makes sense, man. So would you say, we talk about Spartans, they're highly trained. Like, you haven't been in the business 10 years or 20 years. You're not a veteran in mortgages, but I would say like your training has been really focused and specific, on non-QM. Like what, I think, you could look at two people, set them side to side, and you see one person that's, maybe been doing it forever, right? And the next guy, maybe like you've been doing it less, but you have the hunger and you have the you care, right? You have this caring attitude about the file, about the loan, like about the broker. And you can really tell a difference when there's like some quality of caring about something versus nonchalant and like whatever, like, you don't pay attention as much if you don't care. You just let like deals fall out. If they fall out, they fall out. But like, tell me about kind of your mentality of how like each deal matters to you. Yeah, 'cause I know I've seen that where you fight for your brokers and you fight for your deals.
Right, yeah, I get kind of attached to the borrowers, without even talking to them. I see a name, I see a mortgage, and I see something that we could attain. So I'm going to do everything in my power to get it to the finish line.
Yep.
There's some stuff that just comes up that you can't control, broker side and my side. The best recommendation I can make to anybody is the more you know, the better. We could figure it out together.
Yeah.
Because there's, David always says, there's a home for every loan. We try to make that happen as much as possible in the non-QM space.
Yeah.
But in terms of motivation from some loan officers, if I see that they're, full file submission on the first day, I know they're after it. I know they know their stuff.
Right.
I'm there with them. So that way, when it comes off the tracks, if anything, we both know at the same time. We're calling each other at the same time.
Yeah.
But you see the flip side of things. You'll see one condition a day for like 3 weeks, and then at the end,
trailing in conditions, right. And yeah, it's not good.
And one thing I've heard a lot in the business since I'm new in it is time kills deals.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understand it until you kind of live through it.
Right.
And it's true. Loans, for us, maybe, we like to do the loans within 30 days for sure. And that's kind of been where I've been really, seeing a positive influence in my recent files. And then anything over 30 days, I'm sure we can run statistics on the fallout.
Yeah. If it goes longer than, say, 45 days, the chance of it closing diminishes quickly. What was the fastest loan you ever closed?
9 business days in August.
Damn.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
How big was that one?
It was $400,000. It was standard. It was a fallout of UWM, but it was one of our non-QM deals.
Yep.
We got it.
Bank statement loan? Or?
It was a W-2 pay stub only loan, but extended DTI. Fell out of agency, and then we were able to get it done in 9 business days. But
excellent.
A recent one in November, I got it done in 11 business days. Was a new time broker, bank statement loan, commingled. He had an Etsy company plus a side business, so multiple sources of income. And we got that done in same month funding.
Wow.
Purchase.
That's great. What would you say like really helped that? Was it a full package, or was it that the broker really was on top of it, or what was the key factor?
Yeah, so experience helps, but this was his first time doing a bank statement loan. But what he had was the borrower's confidence, and then he was up at it. Any new condition, he was on it. We had it the next day, and that's why we were able to fund that thing in less than 15 business days. That's cool. Even in November, with all the holidays that we had like pretty much 3 holidays.
Yeah, November is a short month. Such a short month. So what I think at this day and age, it's super important to be a mortgage technician, right? Like I look back and think back when it was like 2003, 2004, 5, 6, it was like easy to just, be a good salesman, to go make relationships, and then, you're out golfing and then you bring in the deals. But like as a mortgage loan officer now, I think it's more it's extremely important to be a technician. What I mean by that is like to really understand the loan, not just be the guy going out smiling and making it rain, right? You're knowing about your products, you're knowing what you have, you're knowing the tools that you have to really get deals done. What would you say as an AE, like how are you a technician, and how do you help mortgage brokers become better technicians or processors even?
All right, so I try to be a technician, I think, in 2 different ways. One with general guidelines and knowing my programs well, knowing the borrower well, knowing where their income's coming from and things like that. So we could structure the loan appropriately and pick the best program. But I think also the second part of it in talking to your broker often is being a technician in time. Knowing important dates, when to lock.
When the CD needs to go out to close on time, yeah.
Exactly. When's the close of escrow, and kind of draw a map and have that conversation frequently. Those have been some of my best deals with brokers, new or old. Having a fluid plan, getting the timeline down and then getting the program down and just fine tuning it from there once you kind of set the stage.
Do you think there's been I've heard the term control your borrower, right? Like that's been something that I've heard as an originator before, and makes me think of loan officers. There's some loan officers out there that are kind of like timid, or they're afraid of their borrower. Like they don't want to piss them off. They don't want them to go somewhere else. They don't want them to not like them. And so they let the borrower kind of steer everything and control the deal. Whereas there's some other types of loan officers. There's other type of loan officers who are more dominant, and they're more in control of their borrower. Like they can, I don't mean like controlling crazy freak, but like they control the timeline, they control getting the documents in, and they're very definitive about intent, like what they need at this specific time. What have you seen? Because I know you talk to brokers every day. Like the ones who are really successful, do you think some of them have that same skill set as they're like, okay, I'm going to have my borrower get this. I'm going to make sure that they do this on this date. Or do you think have you seen a difference in kind of how some loan officers are one way and others are the other, and how that affects their closing?
Yeah, I know of two just top of my head that I could instantly think of. I have a file that started off as a no ratio, and then the borrower wanted to go full doc because he thought he could make it full doc, and without the broker even knowing the tax returns or knowing the file, just kind of dumped it on our lap. And I asked him, I was like, well, do you know if he could qualify on full doc? I mean, he ended up qualifying, but he almost lost the purchase agreement. It took him an additional 30 days. He had to pay a per diem per day. And that's just simply, not being able to tell your borrower and give him good advice in the beginning on how he should be structuring his loan. And I think that commonly happens, especially nowadays with people maybe shopping and the industry maybe changing. But we still have to, adhere to the guidelines and the rules. Another one I have is $4.2 million funding this month. She is on top of it. She has this borrower for 5-6 years, knows the borrower's files up and down. That's good. This 4.2 we're going to be funding is going to happen in 14 business days in December. Nice. It's insane. Cash out refis both, non-QM jumbos both. So it's crazy.
That's awesome. So it's key to know your borrower. It's key to know the product, the guidelines. It's key to know, the income, to know everything. I mean, obviously that makes a huge difference, I would say, too. Yeah, I mean, I look back at loans that we closed in the early days in 2003 and 2004. We didn't know all that stuff. We were just out there playing golf, and we weren't really technicians back then. But as time has changed, and especially with big jumbo loans, you've got to be that way. You can't be like the soccer. Like how some realtors are just out there and they don't really know, there's some realtors that are really great. They're knowledgeable realtors, but then there's some realtors out there that are just barely have done deals and they don't know what they're doing. And, you can tell, you can really tell when there's a loan officer who's a technician and a loan officer who's just completely clueless, right? I mean, so I think it's how would you say, what could you offer a loan officer to help them become a better technician? Are there things that you teach, give them do you ever do webinars, or do you have any forums that or training materials that you think?
Yeah. So most recently what I've been doing a lot has been helpful is when I go through bank statements with my first time brokers or loan officers, I'll send them a worksheet that I've used and some stuff that I know that we can't count as income, and some stuff that we can. Right. Kind of give them the premise of it. And I'm not going to know the borrower completely, but I can kind of gauge it from what they tell me that they do for work and what their expenses are typically. Right. But I think once kind of somebody teaches you, it's like that. Well, how's that old adage go? You could teach, you could lead. It's better to fisherman.
There's a couple of those. You can bring a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink, right? And then
that's one.
Teach a man to fish.
Eat for a lifetime.
Eat for a lifetime. Yeah. If you teach a fish,
give a man a fish, he eats for a day.
God, I knew there's a reason why I had you in here, Johnny. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Yeah. Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. That's so true.
And I think this non-QM space is where it's going to be at for a long time. Bank statement loans, self-employed borrowers. If you can nail it down, bank statement loans. I have one broker, all she goes after is CPAs.
Yeah.
And because that's where self-employed borrowers go. So she has a huge pipeline of people buying jumbo homes because they've built a business to where they have a CPA, they have a private advisor, they're set up already. Now they just need to buy their investment properties to add to their portfolio, and that's who she's going after. She's killing it.
Let's talk about that for a second. So, you think about a CPA. Imagine what a CPA looks like. And no disrespect, because CPAs are smart, as you know what. They're great people, right? Most of them.
We need them.
We need them. But like, you think a CPA is out there looking for a mortgage broker? They're not out there trying to find loan officers. Like, they need you as a mortgage broker to go find them and let them know what you do, let them know about your products, let them know, right? So the more you can reach out to CPAs and let them know what you do, let them know about your products, the better chance that you have to get those deals. Because there's a lot of people that just don't have the awareness that these bank statement loans exist. So I'm just saying, like, advice, like, if I needed loans tomorrow, I would go meet with some CPAs, take them to coffee or lunch, and basically just show them the form. Like, CPAs like math, right? That's why they're in this business. Show them these forms. Like, this is how we qualify the income. Like, and I'm sure that they would get excited. They'd be like, oh, wow, like, you don't have to use a tax return? No. You don't have to use a tax return. We don't even look at a tax return. But this is a way that you can show income, beyond the tax return. And I think they will all of a sudden start thinking, oh, I had this client, I had this client, I have that client. And boom, they could just be the best referral source on the planet. So, sorry, that was a little, what we call it, $1 million mortgage experience advice.
No, that's huge. That's huge. And I've seen the falls, even if you get a CPA first time, you get that first borrower first time, but they're only going to grow their business. They're not going to let their business fail. Right. And they're going to get a home with their business. So it's like, it works it works together to increasing their value with their business and their home. So true. But that's one bit of advice I would give them. And the second bit of advice is, the major reason why I love working here, our name is FundLoans. We're here to fund loans, as a team together. That's our only purpose. We're not, like you said, doing FHA or regular bank loans, and we're not even, we're not an ATM either. All we do is loans for mortgages. Right. So I think once you get that mission down of, what do you want to do in your career path, once you decide that and get that mission, that goal, and whatever you do, we have ours, which is funding loans, that would also help you.
Right. Do you ever get calls? Like, what's a typical call? Like, I've never sat in your seat. So, like, what would you say a typical call is from a mortgage broker on a day-to-day basis? Like, give me some examples.
Yeah, typically I just get the, quick call.
Like, hi, my name's Joe, and I got a scenario.
Yeah, I got a scenario, 740 FICO, cash out refi, $3 million value. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes. So you have to talk them through it. Say, okay, well, is he self-employed? Full doc. A lot of people say stated, but stated can mean a lot of different things in the non-QM space. Stated to me means no income, no assets, but stated to some means bank statements. Sure. So I think once you get over those hurdles of laying it all on the table the first time, you'll help your AE or the AE will help the loan officer or broker in finding the best possible suit and saying, hey, we can get this done. We need to go this direction, or after I reviewed everything that you gave me, this might not be able to get done in the fashion that you wanted to get done. Right.
Well, I think you do a great job as an AE, and I know you've seen some crazy scenarios. Non-QM for me is really fun because every day there's something new, right? I've been doing this almost 22 years. And you'd think that I would see every scenario, or I've seen every scenario that ever existed with that many loans and that many years in the business. But like, literally every day you guys come in my office and like, oh my God, I have this deal. This is the deal. This is the problem. And I'm like, wow, like I literally get stuff I've never heard of ever. And and it's really fun because it makes my brain work overtime and create it, be creative. And there's a lot of things that are boring in this business. Like there's the repetitive, a lot of DU and LP running these things. It's just like, does it fit? Does it fit? Boom, done, no. And just like, almost like an autopilot where you turn your brain off and you don't use that creative side of your brain. But I say all that to say, like, our job is to find a home and a fit for someone who doesn't fit. So like, do you have anything come to mind of like weird scenarios that you could share? Just because, like, I could share some too, but like, what is something that you've recently seen? I know you had one with a crazy, like, really, really unique home. That was a beautiful house. Like, you want to talk about that one maybe real quick?
Yeah, definitely. Great one to talk about. Frank Lloyd Wright house in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Beautiful, historic house. Value is mid $5 million range. Borrower is strong. It's actually another non-QM kind of file. He's in the cannabis industry, so we could lend to cannabis industry workers and employees, no problem, which is nice. It gives us an advantage. But also on the flip side, it's an historic property, which some people won't touch because of the resale value of it. But we can do both.
Yeah.
I didn't know who Frank Lloyd Wright was before I got the file.
Yeah, if you don't know who that person is, a lot of you might not. Google the name Frank Lloyd Wright.
Right.
He's an architect, and he's just really different.
Yeah,
they're cool properties, but I mean,
yeah. When I think of FundLoans, or even when I just think of Los Angeles, I think of this house. Yeah. It is just right out of a movie. It's crazy. That's one, kind of different scenario on the borrower and on the property, but a different one too is on a $6 million, 60 acre property, Napa Valley. 6 parcels, old vineyard, stuff like that. Just you'll get a call on a single family residence, and you'll get a call on a 30 acre property. It's just It's wild.
So. That's cool. What was the biggest, most expensive deal you ever came across? Not that you funded it, but just that you saw.
I just got a scenario on an $18 million purchase price.
Nice.
So the loan's going to be probably around, he wants to get as much as possible because at that loan amount, you're putting a lot down, but maybe like $15 million on loan amount. So the 22 on sale now, but they're negotiating the purchase price. And then, we could go up to, obviously $15 million. So he's probably going to leverage 60% of the LTV at that point.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That'll be a big payday.
It's out there. You'd be surprised. Some people think it's like, far in between these loan sizes, but I have another $7 million scenario.
Let them keep thinking that so we can get them all.
Right. So I have a $7 million scenario too out there. $6 million scenario too.
Yeah.
Business is out there.
I wonder how many homes there are if we were to Google. Johnny, pull up like in, do you have Redfin?
I can go there.
Yeah, go to Redfin and do a search in Los Angeles for homes 5 million plus. I wonder how many there are. And that with Bitcoin crashed, but with like everything from like these crazy influencers that are making tons of money on YouTube, or these there's like the cannabis business. These people are making so much money. The YouTubers, what else? There's like a ton of different types of people, like self-employed people out there that are just crushing it. We have a really great economy right now. I know the stock market's being a little bit, is pulling back, which definitely is a sign of people, I think when they pull back on the stocks, they're going to put that money into real estate. Because when people get nervous about, this instability and the volatility of the market, they want something that's safer and collateralized. So like they'll put money in real estate, they'll put money into funds like REITs, that invest in mortgages and mortgage, hard money, private money stuff, because, the money can't really go to zero. You can't lose all your principal and stuff like that. So what that does usually is it kind of similar to the year 2001, 2002, when the dot-com bubble burst, and then all that money started going into, a lot of the Wall Street money started going into, you got the numbers?
Yeah, so just in LA, Los Angeles, on Redfin, I typed in 4.75 million and above. That's the max they had, and there's 18 pages and there's 20 per page, so that's 360 on Redfin right now.
Listings.
Wow. And some of them are like 12. Like here's a 12.9 million, 10 million, 7 million. So it's not just 5 million. It's yeah.
What's the most expensive one there?
I don't know. Let me look.
I do think that there was so I've heard someone say that a lot of builders stopped making the lower end properties because it just didn't pencil out. Like the cost of labor, the cost of materials, and so to make a home that's $600,000 is not going to pencil out the same as if you were to do that. The profit margin is much less than if you were to build a home that's $5 million,
Yeah, I mean, I just read an article about property flipping on loans on homes above $1 million, and how, like you said, the margin is just that much better, and it takes a little more investment, but you'll make a lot more money. I don't want to give away too many secrets, but I know some people who are flipping 1.5 plus homes, $1 million ranges, because people are buying them. Yeah, they're flipping them for a reason, and that's where they make their money.
So true. You think there's how many pages was that?
What did I say? 18 pages
with 20.
20 per page. That's 360 homes. And the most expensive one on Redfin in Los Angeles alone is 11 million.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I know though in Los Angeles I think it's Beverly Hills, or there's one for 250 million, I think.
Jeez. Holy smokes.
We just got a scenario for a $135 million home. Wow. They're trying to negotiate it down to 110 or 105, and they're going to put 50% down, the borrower is. So yeah, I guess we could do bigger than 15 million case by case, but that's insane. So do a search in San Francisco, same search. Right. I'd just be curious to see kind of where, because like you said earlier, that people think, there's not that many of these loans out there, right? Now you might argue, there's 20 pages of those, but how many buyers are there, right? Well, I would think it's safe to say that a lot of the people that could qualify for the home like that think they have to go full doc. Mm-hmm. And they just don't have the tax returns for it.
Yeah, you're right.
But if they knew that there was a loan with bank statements or a 1-year tax return program because they started a new business and they're crushing it, and they're able to use that to finance it.
Right. And I think it's even more of a reason to go to your CPAs. I have on my $18 million scenario, a guy's qualifying on 1-year tax returns because his business exploded. It's exploded so much where banks are trying to give him money on his business.
What industry is it?
That's a good question. I actually don't know what his industry is.
Is he pretty young person? Or?
Pretty young person. Yeah, he's I think he invented some sort of product.
Nice.
And he wasn't really quite sure on what he could qualify for, but he met one of my brokers, and he's been drawing a good timeline and a good map about how to get him to this $18 million purchase.
Jeez.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think without that knowledge, like you said, he probably needed to qualify. He was probably going to Wells Fargo and saying, "Hey, what do I qualify for?" And they were like, "Nothing, because
you only have 1 year. Yeah. Wait, come see me in a year."
Yeah, we ran you through our system and then said no go. So.
I think about too, like you think about how many people are renting, right? Like you could literally go, and this is what I challenge you to do. Go find properties that have renters in it. Like you can call a title company and they'll give you this information. So anyone who's paying, or I think on the MLS you could find this, anyone who's paying like $7,000 a month or more, to on a rental, you could mail to those people. Hey, like if you're paying $10,000 a month in rent, you're obviously, there's a reason why. Maybe it's because you don't know you can qualify. Like we can do a loan. We could do a loan for that person. So that I think right there you could pick up, buyers that just have no awareness of, that they would qualify for. Did you find in San Francisco?
Yeah. So there's not as many, but
not as many over 5 million.
Oh yeah, correct. Not as many over 5 million. There's 3 pages. That's still 20 a page. So that's still a good amount.
So 60 homes over 5 million.
Right. But the loan amounts go up to 25 million. 125, and then there's like it's not a single family residence, but it's another property in general. It's
like a fourplex or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 30 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do Seattle, do like Bellevue, Washington. There's more. I mean, we're in 15 states now, so there's a lot of markets.
We just got Hawaii, and that's pretty big.
Hawaii, dude.
Hawaii's huge.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like Honolulu or Kauai.
I got a scenario on a Hawaii no ratio deal, 22 million property value. Looking here, like a 2 million no ratio loan.
Yeah.
And LTV is like 15% or whatever that is.
Wow.
But yeah, I think Hawaii is a good market. You know, now that we're licensed there.
Yeah.
You know, knowing that this non-QM space is out there, and you know, kind of, you know, if it doesn't fit, Hawaii has a lot of great value in the property and in the house. So,
man, if you can't get loans, like, go get a couple more licenses. Get yourself a Hawaii license. You just pay a fee. Invest in your career. Get yourself a Hawaii license. Get yourself a Colorado license, because there's Aspen and some really nice ski resort towns. And just call the realtors up there and say, hey, I got products. I really think if you were to survey realtors in these different places, they'd be like, oh no, people have to pay cash. They have to pay cash. Mm-hmm. No, they don't. Right. You could get leads, and
they don't have to pay hard money rates either.
No, I just think we priced one for $10 million to sixes or something like that.
Right. Yeah. 6.75.
Exactly. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
What do you see?
All right. So Bellevue. Oh, let me add a minimum. I saw $1 million in there. You don't want that.
When 1 million's not enough.
Yeah.
Put like 3 million minimum.
Okay, 3, because that's still a pretty hefty loan.
Yeah.
All right, 3 million in Bellevue, Washington. There's 4 pages.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
Get yourself a license in Washington. I'm sure there's areas in Oregon. I'm sure there's areas in Montana, ski resorts and ski homes and lodges, and Utah for sure, Park City, Deer Valley.
Guess how expensive the most expensive house in Washington is?
20 million.
45 million.
This is next to Bill Gates, probably.
Okay.
I wonder how much Bill Gates' house is worth. All right, let's look up one more. Look up Miami.
Miami?
Yeah, look at Miami. Do above 3 million. And are you doing all like condos and single families, or are you just doing? Okay. I've never done this on a podcast. This is interesting.
What, searching homes?
Yeah, just searching, seeing what's out there, like in this market right now.
Yeah, so there are in Miami above 3 million. We have 17 pages. So that's 17 times 20.
Quick math. That's
340.
340.
Yeah, it's kind of like Los Angeles. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to look at all the stuff changing too in the U.S. with added sports teams, like Nevada might be huge. Different Olympics coming in a couple of years, and investment properties going up, and people having to kind of structure their taxes a little differently. I think people really need to figure out who's buying what, and then go after the kind of that customer and that consumer,
right?
Because they're out there. These homes are buying and selling pretty quickly.
They are.
Market, in our eyes, in the non-QM space, like I said in the beginning, December has been my biggest month. Mm-hmm. January is going to be bigger. February is going to be bigger. So get in the non-QM space, because
it's growing.
Yeah,
it's blowing up.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you literally, once you start getting good at this, and this market, what's exciting is like when you get someone pre-qualified, like if you get a borrower pre-qualified for a $7 million, $6 million purchase, like that's exciting, because they're going to get a house. They're not going to just shop forever. They're going to be pre-qualified, then they're going to find a place, and they're going to buy the place. I mean, they're going to do it. Then they're going to tell their buddies. If you're in this space, you're an entrepreneur and you've got, you need to use bank statements to qualify, and you go out there and you buy a house and you have your party, your first party or your housewarming party, and your friends, people talk. They're going to say, oh, you should call my buddy, and then what happens is you start getting this like snowball effect of like referrals and, call this guy because they know, they can do miracles, and you start getting this reputation. So like I encourage everyone that's watching this, listening to this, to become an expert in this field, and then just start thinking out of the box, trying to figure out how you can also go find these clients. I mean, there are going to be CPAs that can get you there. You can be these high-end realtors in these different cities that we were looking on Redfin. There's a number. I mean, we've given away so many secrets on the $1 Million Mortgage Minute series, but call me or send me a LinkedIn message and ask me I'll give you 10 minutes of my time, and I'll call and we can chat about all these different ideas. And I think one time I gave someone an idea to go to a entrepreneur. I think it was in LA. They're having an entrepreneur convention, and to like put up a booth, in a convention, or just go show up there and just, talk to people there that are entrepreneurs. It's like, where do you go to find tuna? You go out and you have a certain lure, and then you go follow, you go with an expert, you're going to find exactly the thing that you're looking for. If you go to an entrepreneur convention, that is exactly where all your clientele are. They're all there. And, the whole key is to get their attention, to get their aware, to get them, to know what products we have and to know that this exists, so that, like I said, they're renting. So if they're renting, you can also go after their rental. You can send them a letter. You can get their address right on the MLS, because you can see that the house was listed for rent. And I think we do a lot of investment properties that are high end, right?
Do a ton of investment properties.
And so there's got to be tenants that are renting those places. We have the names and lists of those, so we can literally go help them get out and get into their own house.
But, yeah, exactly. And plus, the cannabis industry. I mean, if you ask them if they could get
Didn't Trump just like say something about like passing a law that hemp is now legal or something for the industry?
Right, it passed the House and the Senate. He's about to sign on a federal law that all farmers could grow hemp, and that's going to blow a hole through a lot of these federal regulations, but even before that, FundLoans, we could fund cannabis employees, so right. Go after your cannabis shops, go after your cannabis owners. They're making a ton of money. Some of them are looking to buy homes, maybe they don't know they qualify. Right. I think that would be a huge asset to loan officers, especially in the states that allow it. Right. Obviously Colorado, Los Angeles, and
Washington, I think Oregon too now, right? Oregon.
Right. So, if you look in LA, I was from LA, every other block had another, cannabis store. So right. Those are all entrepreneurs starting their business, probably needing a home. Yeah. Go after them. I'm guarantee you probably not a lot of people have. And we can get rates for them. They don't get a hit for working in the cannabis industry. No, they don't. The rates are still in the fives. Get a hit. No pun intended. No, exactly. But the rates are still in the fives, very competitive. So
yeah, that's good, huge point. Well, this has been fun. It's been good. Let's wrap it up with give us kind of like the last bit of any advice that you think would help a loan officer become successful from your point of view.
Yeah, just try to take every borrower in their file. Try to know it like the back of your hand, because that's not going to be your borrower one time. That's going to be the borrower for the rest of their life.
Repeat business. Don't be afraid about talking about rates. Yep.
Ask them a question to say, what home do you want, and then when do you want to close? Those are two questions I ask my loan officers. When do you want to close? Exactly. And then we could go from there, and I could go as fast as you want it. Right. So the more you know your file, the more you tell me in the beginning, or any AE here at FundLoans, we could find a home for, and we could go very fast.
That's awesome.
Very fast. So
great. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you for listening to our podcast. If you guys are looking for more content like this, we have a FundLoans YouTube channel where we give away more tips, secrets, and origination ideas. You can also email us at info@fundloans.com. And if you've made it this far, I think it's safe to say you like our content. So please subscribe, share, and send us your scenarios. Let's fund loans together.